My name is Sofia Ramirez. I'm 36. Last Tuesday at 8:47 a.m., I was standing in the surgical observation deck at UCLA Medical Center, watching my sister Isabella scrub in for her first solo appendectomy, when my mother leaned over and whispered, "You know this wouldn't be happening if you hadn't been smart enough to drop out and work those jobs. The real sacrifice here is ours, raising you just so you could fund her future." I didn't breathe. I literally forgot how. The surgical lights below were so bright they hurt my eyes, but I couldn't look away from Isabella's confident hands adjusting her mask. My mother's perfume, that same jasmine scent she'd worn for 20 years, suddenly made my stomach turn. "What did you say?" I asked. My voice came out steady. "I don't know how." "Oh, don't be dramatic, mija." My father shifted in his seat beside her, not even looking at me. "Your mother's just saying the truth. Isabella's the achiever, you're the cash cow, that's how families work. Everyone has a role." The cash cow. He said it like he was ordering coffee, like it was obvious, like I should have known. Before I go on, if stories about standing up for yourself mean something to you, please hit like and subscribe, and tell me in the comments where you're watching from right now, and what time is it there. I was 19 when I dropped out of UCLA. Not because I was failing. I had a 3.7 GPA in pre-med biology. Not because I didn't love it. I kept my anatomy textbook under my pillow and studied until 2 a.m. every night. I dropped out because my parents sat me down in our kitchen on a Sunday afternoon in March and told me Isabella had been accepted to Johns Hopkins School of Medicine with partial scholarship, and they needed $52,000 per year for 4 years to cover the rest. "We can't afford both of you," my mother said, sliding a pamphlet across the table. "Community college offerings. Isabella's scores are higher. Her future is medicine. Yours could be anything. Anything." That word sat in my chest like a stone. "I could take loans," I said. "I could work part-time. I could—" "Sophia." My father's hand came down on the table. Not hard, just final. "This is what family does. You help your sister now. She'll help you later. That's the deal." There was no deal. I knew it even then, sitting there with my UCLA acceptance letter still pinned to the refrigerator behind me. But I was 19, and they were my parents, and Isabella was looking at me with those wide brown eyes, like I held her entire future in my hands. I withdrew the next week. Let me take you back 7 years before that, to when I was 12 years old. My abuela had just died. My father's mother, the one who used to let me organize her spice cabinet by color and never once told me I was doing it wrong. The funeral was at St. Catherine's on Vineyard Avenue, and afterward, there was a woman I'd never seen before standing by the cemetery gate. She was tall, with silver hair pulled back tight, and she wore a black coat that looked like it cost more than our car. She walked straight up to me while my parents were talking to the priest. "You're Sophia," she said. Not a question. I nodded. "I'm Dr. Lauren Hayes. I worked with your grandmother at County General 30 years ago, back when she was a nurse. She talked about you constantly." She crouched down so we were eye level. Her eyes were gray, sharp, kind. "She said you were going to be something extraordinary. A healer," she said. "Someone who fixes broken things." "I want to be a doctor," I whispered. "Then you will be." She pressed something into my palm. A business card, heavy stock, embossed letters. "When you're ready, you call me, no matter how long it takes. I'll be waiting." I kept that card in my wallet for 7 years. Through dropping out, through the warehouse job where I loaded boxes for $13 an hour, 50 hours a week, through the cleaning gigs at office buildings from 6 p.m. to midnight, through catering weddings on weekends, standing in too tight black pants, serving champagne to people who didn't see me. Every paycheck, I gave my parents $1,800 for 4 years. That's $86,400, not counting the extra I sent when Isabella needed textbooks, lab fees, a laptop, interview clothes for residency applications. I kept $600 a month for myself. Rent in a converted garage on Sycamore Street with one window and a hot plate. Groceries, bus fare, and books. I bought used medical textbooks from library sales and studied them in the break room at the warehouse. I had no plan, no future, just this stupid, stubborn hope that knowing things would matter somehow. Isabella graduated Johns Hopkins in 2019, fourth in her class. My parents threw a party at our cousin's restaurant. 102 people, mariachi band, cake with edible flowers. I wasn't invited to sit at the family table. I served drinks. Sophia, more ice, my mother called across the room. I was 23. I had stress fractures in both feet from standing on concrete for years. I hadn't been to a dentist in 4 years. I owned 2 pairs of pants, and I smiled. I got the ice. Isabella started her surgery residency at Cedars-Sinai that July. My parents called me once to tell me she'd been named Resident of the Month. They didn't ask how I was. The shift came on a Thursday in November, 2 years ago. I was cleaning offices at a medical plaza on Wilshire Boulevard, emptying trash cans at 9 p.m., when I saw a flyer on a bulletin board. UCLA Physician Assistant Program, Information Session, November 18th. Physician Assistant. Not doctor, but close. 2 years instead of 8. I could work while studying. Maybe. I stood there holding a trash bag, staring at that flyer like it was a rescue helicopter. I went to the session. I applied. I took the GRE on a Saturday morning after working a double shift, fell asleep during the essay section, woke up with 4 minutes left, and wrote anyway. I got in. I didn't tell my parents. I didn't tell anyone. I deferred the warehouse job to part-time nights, picked up more catering gigs, and started classes in January 2023. It was brutal. I studied on the bus. I practiced sutures on chicken breasts from the grocery store at 2 a.m. I slept 4 hours a night and drank coffee that tasted like battery acid. But I loved it. I loved every second. My clinical rotation started that fall at UCLA Medical Center, and my supervisor, the head of the trauma surgery department, the one who would evaluate my entire performance, was Dr. Lauren Hayes. She recognized me immediately. "You called," she said the first day, shaking my hand in her office. The business card I'd kept for 15 years was framed on her wall behind her desk. "I'm sorry it took so long," I said. "You're exactly on time." She smiled. "Your grandmother knew you'd find your way. So did I. I graduated in May 2024, top of my class." Dr. Hayes offered me a position as a surgical PA on her trauma team immediately, starting salary $92,000, full benefits, tuition reimbursement for the loans I'd taken. I accepted before she finished the sentence. For 6 months, I worked in the surgical unit. I assisted on gunshot wounds, car crashes, emergency C-sections. I held retractors for 7-hour surgeries. I learned to read EKGs in under 10 seconds. I saved 2 lives with my own hands when Dr. Hayes was scrubbed in on simultaneous traumas and trusted me to close on one while she handled the other. I was promoted to senior surgical PA in February 2025. I started training residents. My salary went to $128,000. I still didn't tell my parents. The confrontation came 6 weeks ago. Isabella was accepted into a competitive fellowship at UCLA trauma surgery under Dr. Hayes. She'd be working in the same unit as me, though she didn't know that yet. My parents insisted on taking her to lunch to celebrate. They invited me. "Just to catch up," my mother said on the phone. "We never see you anymore." We met at a cafe on Westwood Boulevard at noon on a Saturday. Isabella hugged me tight. She looked tired, residency does that, but happy. "I'm so excited," she said. "This Dr. Hayes everyone talks about, she's supposed to be incredible, life-changing mentor, they say." "That's great," I said. My mother ordered for everyone without asking what I wanted. When the food came, my father cleared his throat. "So, Sophia, still doing the cleaning work?" something in his tone, like he'd already decided the answer. No, I said. I finished my PA program. I work at UCLA Medical Center now. Silence. Isabella blinked. Wait, you went back to school? When? 2 years ago. Why didn't you tell us? My mother's fork froze halfway to her mouth. I didn't think you'd care. Wrong thing to say. I knew it instantly. My father's face went red. That's incredibly selfish, Sophia. After everything we sacrificed for this family, you go off and, what, get some technical certificate? While your sister is becoming a real surgeon? It's not a certificate. It's a master's degree. I'm a licensed PA. Same thing. He waved his hand like he was swatting a fly. You're still not a doctor. You're still just supporting the real work. Isabella looked between us, uncomfortable. Dad, that's not… PAs are important. Isabella, eat your food. My mother's voice was sharp. Then to me. We supported you for years, Sophia. We gave you a purpose, helping your sister. And this is how you repay us? By sneaking around, taking out loans for some assistant job? The cafe was crowded. People were staring. My face felt hot, but not from embarrassment, from something colder. You didn't support me, I said quietly. I supported you. I gave you $86,400 over 4 years. I worked 75-hour weeks. I still have scars on my feet from that warehouse. Oh, here we go. My mother rolled her eyes. The martyr routine. You chose that, Sophia. You could have said no. I was 19. You were an adult. My father leaned forward. And you know what? You should be grateful. Isabella's success reflects on all of us. Your job is to support that. That's your role. The cash cow, like I said. Someone has to be. There it was again. Cash cow. He said it louder this time. Proud of it. Isabella's eyes went wide. Dad, what the hell? Isabella, enough. My mother's hand came down on hers. Your father's right. Sophia needs to understand her place in this family. We're very proud of you, Mija. But pride doesn't pay bills. Sophia's contributions were necessary. She should be happy she could help. I stood up. My chair scraped loud against the floor. I need to go. Sophia, sit down. It? My father's voice was low, warning. No. I walked out. I didn't pay for my food. I didn't look back. Isabella texted me that night. I'm so sorry, I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. I believed her. But it didn't change anything. 3 weeks later, Dr. Hayes called me into her office on a Tuesday morning before rounds. Sit, she said. Her face was serious. I sat. She slid a folder across her desk. I've been going through fellowship applications. Your sister Isabella Ramirez is starting next month. I know. She doesn't know you work here. No? Dr. Hayes leaned back in her chair, studying me. I knew your grandmother very well, Sophia. We worked night shifts together for 3 years back when I was barely out of med school. She used to talk about her granddaughters, you and Isabella. She worried about you, said your parents had favorites and you weren't it. My throat tightened. She made me promise something before she died, Dr. Hayes continued. She said, if Sophia ever finds her way to medicine, you help her. You show her what she's worth. Because her parents never will. I couldn't speak. I've been watching you for 9 months now, Dr. Hayes said. You're one of the best PAs I've ever trained. You're calm under pressure. You anticipate needs before I voice them. Residents respect you. Patients trust you. You saved Marcus Chen's life last month when you caught that internal bleed before anyone else saw it. You did your job exceptionally. She opened the folder. Inside were printed emails, schedules, photographs. Your sister's fellowship starts April 1st. Her first rotation is trauma surgery, with me, which means she'll be working directly alongside you for 3 months. I can transfer, I said quickly. I can request a different unit. I don't want to make this awkward. Sophia, Dr. Hayes's voice was firm. I'm not asking you to hide. I'm asking you if you want me to tell her who you are before she gets here, or if you want to tell her yourself. I thought about it. 30 seconds of silence. Neither, I said finally. Let her find out on her own. Dr. Hayes smiled slowly. Your grandmother would have liked that. April 1st arrived. Isabella's first day. I was in the surgical prep area at 6:30 a.m., reviewing patient charts when she walked in wearing fresh scrubs and a nervous smile. She didn't see me at first. She was too busy checking in with the charge nurse. Then she turned. Our eyes met. Sophia? Her voice went up 3 octaves. Do you work here? Yeah. I kept my tone neutral. I'm the senior surgical PA on Dr. Hayes's team. You're... She looked around like the walls would explain. You're senior? How long have you been here? 15 months. Why didn't you tell me? You didn't ask. That landed. She flushed. Dr. Hayes appeared in the doorway. Isabella, good morning. I see you've met Sophia Ramirez, one of my top PAs. She'll be supervising your suture technique and assisting on your first few solo procedures. I trust that's not a problem? Isabella's mouth opened, closed. No, no problem. Excellent. Sophia, take Dr. Ramirez through today's trauma board. We have a GSW coming in at 0800. I want her observing your assessment protocol. Yes, Dr. Hayes. For 3 weeks, Isabella and I worked in careful silence, professional, polite. She watched me work. I taught her the same way Dr. Hayes taught me, with patience, precision, and zero tolerance for excuses. She was good, I could admit that. Fast hands, sharp instincts, confident decisions under pressure. But she was also my sister, and every time I handed her a scalpel, I remembered folding boxes in a warehouse at midnight while she slept in a dorm room I paid for. The breaking point came on a Wednesday. We'd just finished a successful trauma surgery, motorcycle accident, internal bleeding, touch and go for 40 minutes, but we'd stabilized him. Isabella had assisted beautifully. As we scrubbed out, Dr. Hayes clapped her on the shoulder. Well done, Dr. Ramirez. That was excellent work. Thank you, Isabella said, breathless, glowing. I couldn't have done it without Sophia's guidance. She's incredible. Dr. Hayes looked at me, then back at Isabella. Yes, she is. Did you know Sophia worked 3 jobs simultaneously to put herself through PA school? No family support, no safety net, just sheer determination. Isabella's smile faltered. I didn't know the details. She also worked 3 jobs from age 19 to 23, Dr. Hayes continued, her tone casual but pointed. Warehouse, cleaning, catering, 75-hour weeks, stress fractures, no health insurance, all while you were at Johns Hopkins. The room went very quiet. Isabella looked at me. Sophia. It's fine, I said. It was a long time ago. It's not fine. Her voice cracked. I didn't know. I swear I thought Mom and Dad said they were covering everything. I thought they were covering everything, I said, with my money. She went pale. Dr. Hayes excused herself. We stood there in the scrub room, water still running, neither of us moving. How much? Isabella whispered. $86,400, plus extras. Oh my God. She sat down hard on the bench. Sophia, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. They never told me. I would have what? I turned off the water. Said no to Johns Hopkins? Refused the money? You were 18, Isabella. You didn't do anything wrong. But her eyes filled. They used you. Yes. And they're still, that lunch, what Dad said, calling you the cash cow. Yeah. She put her head in her hands. I feel sick. I sat down next to her. For a long time, we didn't talk. I start teaching a resident seminar next month, I said finally. Advanced trauma assessment. Dr. Hayes asked me to co-lead it. You're welcome to audit if you want. She looked up, shocked. You'd let me? You're a good surgeon, Isabella. This doesn't change that. But you didn't know. Now you do. What you do with that information is up to you. She nodded slowly. Then, are you going to tell Mom and Dad about your job? Eventually, when I'm ready. Can I be there when you do? I looked at her, really looked at her. She meant it. Yeah, I said. You can be there. That night, I went home to my apartment. A real apartment now. 1 bedroom, parking spot, dishwasher, and found an envelope on my kitchen counter. My landlord must have slipped it under the door. No return address. Just my name in handwriting I hadn't seen in 8 years. Inside was a letter. And a key. The letter was from Dr. Lauren Hayes. Dear Sophia, if you're reading this, then I'm gone. And I've finally worked up the courage to give you what I should have given you years ago. Your grandmother asked me to look after you. I promised her I would. But I also promised her I'd wait for the right time, when you were strong enough to stand on your own, when you'd proven to yourself what you're worth, when you didn't need anyone's validation but your own. That time is now. The key in this envelope opens a safe deposit box at Western United Bank, branch on Olympic Boulevard. Box number 847. Inside you'll find a copy of every paycheck you earned from age 19 to 23, showing exactly how much you gave your parents. Notarized statements from your former employers documenting your work hours and injuries. Your original UCLA acceptance letter and scholarship offer. Full ride, which your parents never showed you. A folder of emails between me and your grandmother from 2012 to 2016, discussing her concerns about your family dynamics. $75,000 in a cashier's check. This is what she left you in her will, which your father never mentioned because he was executor and he quietly had it transferred to Isabella's education fund. I'm sorry I couldn't give you this while I was alive. I was waiting for you to be safe first, to be established, to be somewhere they couldn't hurt you anymore. You are not the cash cow. You are not the backup plan. You are the surgeon your grandmother always knew you'd become, maybe not with an MD, but with the same steady hands and unshakable heart. The documents are yours. Use them how you see fit. My lawyer, Robert Chen, knows everything. His office is at 1640 Westwood Boulevard, Suite 302. I'm proud of you, little star. Your grandmother would be too. All my love, Dr. Lauren Hayes. I read it 4 times. Then I sat on my kitchen floor and cried for 20 minutes straight. The next morning I went to the bank. Everything was exactly where she said it would be. The emails between Dr. Hayes and my grandmother were dated across 4 years. My abuela had been documenting everything, every phone call where my parents asked for money, every time I came to visit with new bruises from the warehouse, every semester I should have been in college but wasn't. She's destroying herself for people who don't see her, my grandmother wrote in March 2015. But she's too loyal to walk away. We have to wait. Let her find her strength first. Dr. Hayes had replied, I'll be here when she's ready, however long it takes. They'd been protecting me for a decade, building a case, waiting. I took the documents to Robert Chen's office that afternoon. He was in his 60s, kind eyes, gentle voice. Dr. Hayes briefed me extensively, he said. She wanted you to have options. We can pursue legal action against your father for misappropriation of inheritance funds. We can file civil suits for the money you gave under false pretenses. Or, he paused, you can simply show your family the truth and walk away. No court, no drama, just facts. What would Dr. Hayes want? I asked. He smiled. She said you'd ask that. Her answer was, whatever gives Sophia peace. I thought about it for 3 days. Then Isabella texted me. Mom and Dad want to come see me at the hospital next week. They want to watch me do a teaching case. They're bringing the whole family. Aunts, uncles, cousins. Can you believe it? I replied, What day? Thursday at 2 p.m. Why? I'll be there. Thursday came. The teaching case was a simulated appendectomy. Isabella leading 3 residents through the procedure on a training dummy in the skills lab, while Dr. Hayes observed. The hospital had set up chairs in the observation area above the lab. 32 people showed up. My parents, Isabella's medical school friends, our extended family. Everyone wanted to see the golden child shine. I stood in the back in my scrubs, name badge visible. Sophia Ramirez, PAC, Senior Surgical Physician Assistant. Nobody noticed me. Isabella was brilliant, confident, clear, teaching the residents with patience and precision. When she finished, everyone applauded. My mother was crying proud tears. Dr. Hayes stepped forward as the applause died down. "Thank you all for coming," she said. "Before we break, I want to recognize someone who's been instrumental in Dr. Isabella Ramirez's development here. Our senior PA, Sophia Ramirez, has been supervising Isabella's surgical technique and trauma protocols for the past 6 weeks. Sophia, would you come down?" Every head turned. I walked down the stairs, slowly. My parents' faces went white. "Sophia has been with our trauma team for 15 months, Dr. Hayes continued. "She's one of the finest PAs I've trained in my 30-year career. She graduated top of her class from the UCLA PA program while working 3 jobs simultaneously, a feat of determination I've rarely witnessed." My father stood up. "Wait, Sophia works here? Since when?" "Since May 2024, I said calmly. "I was promoted to senior level in February." "You never told us," my mother said, voice rising. "You never asked." The room was dead silent. My father's face turned red. "This is completely inappropriate. You ambush us here in front of everyone to, what, show off some assistant certificate?" "It's a master's degree," Isabella said quietly from the lab floor. "Dad, she's been teaching me. She's incredible at what she does." "Isabella, not now." My mother's voice was sharp. "Sophia, we need to talk about this privately. This is family business." "No," I said. "This is professional business, and it stops being private when you call me the cash cow in public." Gasps. Murmurs. My Aunt Elena's hand went to her mouth. "I never, my father started. "Yes, you did. 6 weeks ago at lunch. You said, 'Isabella's the achiever. You're the cash cow.' That's how families work. Everyone has a role." I pulled out my phone, opened the recording app. "I recorded it. Would you like me to play it for everyone?" His mouth opened, closed. Dr. Hayes stepped beside me. "I think there's been a significant misunderstanding about Sophia's contributions to this family. Perhaps we should clear that up now." I pulled a folder from my bag, the one from the safe deposit box. I set it on the table in front of the observation window where everyone could see. "This folder contains documentation of every dollar I earned and gave to you from age 19 to 23, I said. My voice was steady. I'd practiced this. "Total, $86,400, plus another $8,200 in extras for Isabella's expenses. That's $94,600. My mother's face went gray. "It also contains my original UCLA acceptance letter with a full scholarship offer, which you never showed me. Instead, you told me we couldn't afford 2 kids in college and I needed to drop out to fund Isabella's education." "That scholarship wasn't full," my father said quickly. "It was partial. It wouldn't have covered—" "It was full ride. Here's the letter. 4 years, tuition, room, board, books. Signed by the UCLA Dean of Admissions." I held it up. My cousin Miguel leaned forward, squinting at it. "That says full scholarship," he said. "Why would they lie about that?" "Because," I continued, "there's also a copy of my grandmother's will in here. She left me $75,000 when she died. My father was executor. He transferred it to Isabella's education fund without telling me. There are bank statements proving it. The room erupted. That's not true. My mother stood up. Your father would never. Mrs. Ramirez. Robert Chen's voice cut through the noise. He'd been standing in the doorway. I'd invited him. I'm Robert Chen, attorney for the estate of Dr. Lauren Hayes, and executor of your mother-in-law's revised will. Everything Sophia just said is documented and notarized. Would you like to review the files? My father looked like he might pass out. Isabella was staring at our parents like she'd never seen them before. Dr. Hayes cleared her throat. I think we should give the Ramirez family some privacy to discuss this. Everyone else, thank you for coming. People filed out slowly, whispering, looking back. When the room cleared, it was just me, Isabella, my parents, Dr. Hayes, and Robert Chen. My mother spoke first. Sophia, you have to understand. We were doing what was best for the family. Isabella had the higher scores, the better prospects. You stole from me, I said simply. For years, and you made me believe I was helping, that I was doing the right thing. You were helping! My father's voice was desperate now. Look at Isabella. She's a surgeon. That wouldn't have happened without you. It would have happened with Grandma's money, I said. The money she left specifically for me, which you diverted. That's theft, Dad. Legal, prosecutable theft. He sat down hard. Isabella walked over to me. Her eyes were red. Did you know all this when you started teaching me? No. I found out 2 weeks ago. And you still taught me? You didn't steal from me, Isabella. They did. She turned to our parents. How could you? She's your daughter. So are you, my mother said weakly. But you treated us like we had different values, like she was disposable. Isabella's voice broke. I'm standing here in this coat because she bled for it. Literally. She has scars, Mom, on her feet, from standing on concrete for 75 hours a week so I could study in comfort. We gave you opportunities, my father tried. You gave her nothing, Isabella shouted. Nothing but lies and manipulation, and God, you called her a cash cow to her face. How do you even say that about your own child? Silence. I picked up the folder. I'm not here for apologies. I'm here to tell you that I don't need you anymore. I never did, really. I just thought family was supposed to mean something. Sophia, please. My mother's voice was small. We can fix this. We can pay you back. With what money? I asked. The house you bought 3 years ago? The one you said was from Dad's promotion but was actually financed with the $75,000 you stole from me? Her face confirmed it. I don't want your money, I said. I want you to know that I succeeded despite you, not because of you, despite you. I walked to the door, stopped, turned back. Isabella, you're an excellent surgeon. I'm proud to have taught you. If you want to keep learning from me, my door's open, but I'm done with them. I left. Behind me, I heard my mother crying, my father saying my name. I didn't turn around. 6 months later, I'm sitting in my new apartment in Santa Monica. 2 bedrooms, balcony overlooking the ocean, plants everywhere. I bought it with the $75,000 from Grandma's will plus my own savings. It's mine. Fully mine. Isabella texts me every few days. We get coffee sometimes. She's in therapy now, working through what our parents did. We're rebuilding, slowly. My parents tried calling for 3 months. I blocked them after my mother left a voicemail saying, "We're sorry you're upset, but you're being very unfair to us." I haven't spoken to them since. Dr. Hayes died 2 months ago. Pancreatic cancer, fast and brutal. I was with her at the end. She held my hand and said, "Your grandmother was right about you. You were always going to fly. You just needed to stop carrying extra weight." I spoke at her funeral, told everyone she saved my life twice, once when I was 12 and once when I was 34. At work, I'm training a new cohort of residents. One of them reminds me of myself at 19, scared, brilliant, trying too hard to prove something. I pulled her aside last week and told her, "You don't have to earn your place here, you already belong." She cried. I have a cat now. Her name is Estrella, little star in Spanish, the name my grandmother used to call me. She sleeps on my chest and purrs like an engine. At night, I stand on my balcony and watch the ocean. Sometimes I think about my parents. Mostly I don't. I'm enough. I always was. If you're watching this and you've ever been told your only value is what you provide for someone else, type "I am enough" in the comments. Or if you've walked away from people who couldn't see your worth, type "I walked away." Both are acts of survival. Both are brave. If this story meant something to you, check the description for more stories just like this one. Thank you for being here.